Questions for Coach?
Fred, I know you've only played this rivalry game twice, and one was in an empty arena, but have you been able to gain an appreciation for what this game means to the state and both collective fan bases?
Yeah, it's one of the great things about sports is rivalry games, and even though I've only been a part of this one for a couple of years, I've been a part of a great one growing up in Ames, playing against Iowa. Those are always huge games for us and huge games for them, and the state gets really jacked up for those contests. So it is 1 year without fans, obviously very strange, playing both games so far on the road, which we're very appreciative to Coach Mack for changing up the schedule a little bit, where we wouldn't have played in an empty arena and then go back there with fans again. So really excited about this opportunity. We'll learn a lot about ourselves in this game. They're going to test us in a lot of ways. I've been very impressed with the young talent that they've got in the roster, and just need to go out and play with great effort for 40 minutes. If we do that, we'll have a chance.
The fact that none of your guys have played this game with fans in the stands, does that kind of take some of the pressure off that this is all new to them?
I don't know about that. It's just, again, for us, we just need to go out and, first of all, be better than what we've been so far this season. We can build off some of the things that we did in the second half the other night against Sam Houston. And, when the ball moves, we're a pretty effective team. When we get dribble happy and dribble the air out of the ball, which we've had too many of those possessions so far this season, we get stagnant, we get ourselves in trouble, and we're susceptible in transition on the other end because we don't have any movement. So, it's been a big emphasis in practice the last couple of days, and our guys have done a really good job getting in the paint, making plays, as opposed to getting in there, shifting, shooting contested mid-range shots, spraying it out and getting good looks on offense. So that's been a big emphasis of what we've been trying to do. We continued to hit the glass hard. I thought we were more physical, much more physical in our second game, and we're going to have to carry that over tomorrow night to this game against Creighton. They've got some very athletic players and good length across the board.
With what Creighton's replaced, does it help playing now as opposed to a month from now?
Again, we're both still, I think trying to find ourselves a little bit just with, with the early season contests, with a lot of new faces out there playing together for the first time in real game action. So it's a unique time as far as when you play these games, as far as timing goes. I think we've got a lot of work, talking about ourselves right now that, that we need to get better with, and hopefully we can start carrying that over into the game starting tomorrow night.
On Sunday, after the game, you mentioned that you were going to have a good film session with Alonzo, just about decision making. How did he respond to that, and how has he played over the last couple of days?
Yeah, he took it very well, and I think understands. And those film sessions, it's not about taking away aggressiveness. Alonzo obviously is a kid that can really get into the paint, and he's got a scorer's mentality, and that's what he's played really for the last 4 years, going back to junior college and then at Arizona State. He has played more off the ball and has been asked to score the basketball, and he's fallen back on that a little bit, especially if things weren't going great on the floor, to almost try to take the game over by himself. He had some great opportunities at the rim that he missed, and it might be a completely different game if he makes pretty much uncontested layups. He missed 3 of them in the first 10 minutes. So I'm not taking away Alonzo's aggressiveness, but what I am asking him to do is when he gets in there, he's got to survey the floor, because when we hit the paint, we spray it out. We're a very efficient team, and we look at numbers all across the board when we started this thing a couple months ago. So he took it well, and now it's about carrying it over and doing it in game action, especially when times get tough. And he admitted he got in his own head a little bit because you miss those easy ones at the rim, and then you start pressing. So, I thought his second half was better. The other night he finished better. He found Bryce on a couple plays where he came under control. And the biggest thing I showed him, when he makes the simple play early in the possession, whether it's hitting the pocket, throwing a shake pass, getting the ball moving, creating that chain reaction, we have really good possessions.
You mentioned the game on Friday, desire to get K-State, CJ, and the rest of the shooters more involved, more looks. Why is that so important for you guys?
Well, it's who we've been, and obviously we have not shot the ball at a very high clip in the first 2 games after 2 really good performances in the exhibitions, and we found our guys. We found them in transition, and again, that's coming to a jump stop and making the play when it's there, as opposed to trying to hit the home run. So that'll take care of itself if we just get back to making simple plays.
What's a big key for Eduardo to build off of
his last performance and consistently, maybe be a part of things?
Yeah, he was terrific. I said this after the game the other night that he was I thought the key to us winning that game. He gave us such a great spark off the bench. He'll absolutely be in our rotation here moving forward. And just for Eduardo, it's all about making effort plays, not trying to do too much out there. And he's really bought into that these last couple weeks heading into game action. And when he keeps it simple, he's a very effective player. Did a good job protecting the rim for us, had a couple blocks, had a couple challenges at the rim, which again created a miss or a block shot, which got us out in transition as well. And I really thought he changed ends well. He got out and ran a transition, had the big and one dunk that I thought was a huge momentum shifter in that game.
You say you're going to learn a lot about your team. Dave, what are you going to learn from this game?
Well, hopefully that we go out and play well and can build off of some of the things we've been doing. We had again, going to focus on the good moments that we had in the second half the other day and hopefully carry that over to this game tomorrow night. We're going to have to be sharp for 40 minutes. We're going to have to play a complete 40-minute game if we want to have a chance to win this one. And that's what it's all about. It's about creating the habits that you go out there and play consistently, from the start of the game to the finish. We gave up 4 offensive rebounds in the first minute and a half the other night, being the biggest key going into that one. And then the rest of the game, we were pretty good. So we're going to have to come out and not get shocked by their speed. They're really good when they get out in transition. We have to limit those opportunities, but it can't take 2 minutes into the game and realize, now we got to go. It's got to be right from the tip. We have to be ready to go and hopefully play consistent for 40.
Did you sense that Wilhelm maybe got some of the nerves out after the first game?
Yeah, I was really pleased with Wilhelm. I talked about this the other night. His numbers, didn't jump off the page at you. I think he had 3 points, 3 rebounds, but he finished the game for us and gave us a really good physical game with he and Eduardo out there together, and then finished it with he and Derek out there together. Just gave us a little more size out there. Lat hasn't practiced a lot. He's been battling different injuries, so as he continues to work his way into shape, Wilhelm's going to have to give us some key minutes at that 4 spot, which he and Eduardo, we kind of shift that lineup around. But, I thought that lineup with he and Eduardo and then he and Derek was very good for us at the end of the game because it gave us size, it gave us physicality, and we were able to battle on the glass much better.
Fred, how do you balance that? This is game 3, and you said you're still learning about your team, yet this is a game that means so much to the fan base with it being Creighton. How do you kind of exist in that middle space that it's not one leans more one way?
Yeah, and I think, you asked Greg, he's going to tell you the same thing with a young group that, just, probably learn a lot about themselves as well. And that's part of the process early in the season. Once you start playing real games is, can you continue to do the things that make you successful, what we've worked on in practice, as opposed to going out there and trying to, like what we did the other night, take over a game, do it on your own, play together and do it consistently for 40 minutes. And, it's just part of the process when you have a bunch of new faces out there. So, it's, again, a really good early season opportunity for our team, and hopefully we go out and play great for 40 minutes. The biggest thing we're looking for is consistent effort. And, if we do that for the rest of the season, we're going to be fine.
Been a part, as you said, been a part of these in-state rivalry games before. How do you approach these games compared to, opponent X?
I don't think you change your approach. I don't think you change your preparation, regardless of who the opponent is. For me personally, I never get ahead of the task at hand, the game that we're focusing on. So, after the game the other night, then we started prepping for Creighton. After this one, we'll start prepping for Idaho State. You got to take it one game at a time. If not, you're going to get stung in this business.
The last two times you guys have played them, they've put in some pretty big runs up on the board. What is the common trend there with those situations?
Well, it was all about transition the last 2 years for us.
Guys realize that this is a big deal, or do they?
Yeah, no, absolutely they do.
Yeah.
And, Trey, he's talked a lot about it, being a part of this game a year ago. CJ we have on our roster who was in the Big East last year, had 2 really competitive games against Creighton when he was at Xavier. But, yeah, our guys understand. They understand the importance of what this game means. We have talked about it to them. The one thing about these games, sometimes you go out there, you're almost too hyped up, and just thinking back on experience from playing in those games and coaching in those games, you almost get a little too hyped up. So, for us, it's about going out there and doing the things that have made us a good team this year and limiting the things that have caused us to struggle. And that's what it's all about. But absolutely, we have talked to our team about the importance of what this game means, especially to our fans.